Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. This time we bring in the deadly duo of Taylor and Sean. How you doing, boys?
Good, yeah. Sean, you go first, maybe. I'm good.
I'm good, man. I'm Gucci. We're growing. We're good.
Sean, let's chat PPC. No nonsense stuff as usual. What have you got for me?
All right, we'll make it quick, man. Basically, so I would say kind of the big stuff that's happened, big things that like I think are stuff that people can take away and use like on it all the time are the trends we saw post-holiday, which I think can be applied to any holiday if you have a seasonal product. Basically, we had accounts that didn't really see the effect of holiday, which is actually kind of good for PPC, mainly because we didn't see that increase in sales, but we also didn't see that decrease in conversion rate because some accounts that were highly seasonal saw conversion rate dip about a third. So basically some of our accounts that were doing like, it was 12% PPC conversion rate during the holidays went to about 4%. And so you can only imagine what happened with the ACOS. And so that was really, really challenging to troubleshoot because you're kind of in this position where like, how much do you cut? You have to cut pretty extreme and you have to be monitoring it very frequently. And so we saw that that's for any holiday, man. If you have a very seasonal item, watch that conversion rate. We also ran a little, and what you probably should do is, I use PPC scope, but like if you use a spreadsheet or you use any graph, look for when there's so there's going to be two lines on the graph. There's your PPC sales and then your ACOS. And then once you see those PPC sales go down and the ACOS go up, they're going to cross.
That's right. Yeah.
Right when they cross is kind of when you want to like mark that date as like, hey, maybe that's the time I need to start working on stuff. Or maybe even when you first see the trend go down. And we found for this holiday specifically, and you want to mark the dates too, so you can do it year over year. But for us, like generally, we saw it on 12/22. Because we pulled from like 30 accounts and we saw around 12/22.
Taylor, same to you in terms of AMS. Talk me through that.
Biggest thing, AMS keyword performance support. You're going to go in, you can hover over advertising, you're going to see the reports, and you can go in and see that they now have what is like keyword reports, so you can see basically your performance on your keywords. It's good, it's great. We've had something similar with our internal software that's gave us the capability for like 6 months, but it's new for kind of newish, I guess, for a lot of new people, which is great. Being brand gated into AMS, I don't know why still a lot of people are talking about this. They're like, I can't get into AMS. You have to be, I believe it's brand gated. Is that correct, Danny? Am I saying that right?
I think so now is the new one. Yeah, it's brand gated to get in AMS.
And so the way I would look at it is it's good. It's a barrier to entry. And the more walls that they put up to get in to use headline ads, product display ads, the better, because at the end of the day, it's just mean that there's going to be less people using it and the average cost per click is going to stay lower. So look at that as a good thing. Seen across accounts year over year, the average cost per click has gone up a lot on certain keywords. We have a few accounts that we looked at just like December and January year over year, because we've been in AMS for a long time now. And like average cost per click has doubled on main keywords for certain products. So it is, obviously now it's in Seller Central. It's something that is becoming more relevant and people are using it and they're figuring out more and more about it. So it's becoming less effective. So you got to become a little bit more of a ninja and really kind of figure it out and spend more time on it. Those are the three kind of main things.
What about in terms of conversion, etc.? Like what Sean was talking about, PPC, what seasonal aspects of you seeing with AMS?
So exact same as Sean. December 22nd, when we rounded it, when we averaged it out, me and Sean kind of did the analysis together. We're like, hey, 22nd is looking like the date where everybody's dipping. We had a few accounts that just like powered straight through Christmas and, no seasonality whatsoever. They just crushed it. But the average on all the other accounts was the 22nd when we saw the dip. So next year moving forward, on the 22nd, 23rd, what we're going to do is we're just going to immediately go in and cut it, because had we done that across all the accounts and even on certain accounts, we probably would have saved like $2,000, maybe even $3,000 for some of the bigger accounts, and then on the lower accounts, maybe $500, $750. So big lesson there. I mean, across all the accounts, it was a big lesson. And I would say definitely next year, make sure that like right before 22nd, 23rd, you're going in, you're making sure to cut it. Not a whole lot else. I would say the biggest thing in terms of like a strategies, I think I said this on the last call, Danny, maybe you can refresh me, but Definitely just make sure that you're testing every interest possible in your product display ad campaign. So if you have like 10 different products, make sure for each of those products you're setting up targeted by related category. That's one of the product display ads. And then there's another one which is targeted by interest. And literally just set up those 2 campaigns for each of your products. You have 10 products, it can be 20 campaigns. Test every single interest, every single related category. They give you reporting on each interest and category within one campaign, so you don't have to do one interest per campaign. You can do it all within one now. And just low bid, like 57 cents, 67 cents, around their $20 budget. Some of them are just going to crush. We have one client that did like a ridiculous amount in sales, almost like $15,000 in sales at like a 12% ACoS through the holidays, and one campaign, and it was on an interest campaign. So and we saw lots of that across a lot of accounts. So that was one of the biggest we were just like blown away. We're like, holy crap, these are campaigns we're doing nothing on. And they're just like basically auto campaigns that are crushing it. So,
what are you seeing in terms of average bid for start price on product ads now? You know, like you have a bidding strategy that you bid up rather than start top and going down. You start at a lower threshold. Are you seeing your threshold movement happening?
On product display ads specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we never start those ads over $1, and we're very careful about checking that little box that says auto target. We almost never do it. Like, I'm not joking. We'll never do it unless we find a top performing product display ad. So usually we start them without the check.
Yeah.
And then 2-3 weeks in, if we see it's performing really well, then we'll copy it and check it and see how it performs with it checked. But our starting bids always range between 37 cents to about 77. It never goes over $1 when it's to start.
Yeah, because what I was trying to get to there, obviously we've seen headline ads are going up because more availability, the lowering the barrier to entry. I just wondered with product ads that you have to obviously be in AMS.
Yeah, and product ads we've seen average cost per click is really steady. We actually haven't seen that it's gone up at all, and that kind of makes sense because in the product display ads, it's not something that anybody I talk to uses. And it's not something that's available on Seller Central as well. So it's still kind of like that super low average cost per click, low hanging fruit thing that if you figure it out, it really crushes.
Yeah. Okay, Sean, back over to you just quickly. And I'll throw the same question to Taylor for AMS. I got a lovely email just the other day to explain to me that Amazon will kindly charge me for clicks that they forgot to charge me for at Christmas. I didn't get the email that says when everyone is spam clicking on your clicks, that we're going to get your money back. And they haven't told me how much and where their data is coming from. They're just letting me know. So what's your take on that?
You know what? I basically got one of my clients forwarded an email and was asking more about that. I got to respond to that. I think I'll get a couple more of those as well. I think what's going to happen is it's not going to come down on me. I think it's going to be a lot of seller support tickets. I think it's one of those things where, I don't know, man, it's tricky. Like, I don't think they should back charge because their system couldn't hold the capacity. It's one of those, you know, like their click fraud, I totally understand, but I wouldn't charge more for clicks. I would just use it as a learning tool and take the cost. But I don't know. I don't think it's a good move. Yeah. But I'll tell you what the amounts are and stuff like that. But that's something that we're getting more emails about as well.
Yeah. And Taylor, have you seen anything like that on the AMS side?
I haven't received any emails, but honestly, like if they're realizing that they didn't charge you for clicks, I mean, yeah, they should charge you for clicks. I mean, obviously we all want to like save as much money as possible, but the clicks led to sales. I mean, it's not really too big of a deal.
No, but you see the irony of it is like they tell you a nice email, like they're just letting you know, oh, by the way, we forgot to charge you. You're not getting away with it. We're going to charge you, but we'll make no mention of spam clicks and fraud clicks that we've been charging you and getting your money back on. It's
to add on that, you know what they do is they tell you raise your budgets, raise your bids for the holidays, but you don't see an email after the holidays that says, hey, bring it back down.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's another sign is they're always going to want you to spend money, like as much money as possible, and not tell you to slow down.
Well, it's a genius platform, isn't it? It's like, right, Amazon charge you to sell on their platform and you pay them for visibility.
Yeah.
It's great. You know?
Yeah, you know, if you look at their growth rate in the advertising space, you know, if you read things like DigiDay and any ad tech magazines, you know, Amazon is plastered all over the place. They're like always, you know, when I get my, you know, my daily news, Amazon is always in there as being you know, their growth rate, they're coming at AdWords, they're coming at Facebook. in terms of growth rate. They're not there yet, but you know, they're going to be a force to reckon with. And it's going to be interesting moving forward.
So talking of money pits, is it too quick to switch to AAP? Is that a money pit, or is you getting some good data back from this?
I would say it depends on your strategy as a seller. Yeah. Because, you know, it's a different platform. It's a discovery platform. It's, you know, it's off of Amazon. It's going to align with more traditional e-commerce metrics. Like in e-commerce, Shopify stores conversion rate is a lot lower than Amazon, because Amazon has really figured out the conversion piece. They're a unicorn in the conversion space. Yeah. So the people, I think we get like really like comfortable with those high conversion rates that Amazon has created the environment for.
But what I'm trying to get to, I know that because we have kind of discussed it before, and I know you guys have got more data on it, but there are certain elements of AAP which is, you know, which is a bit more like, you know, with the display advertising, less targeted and everything else. But you guys have been doing some aspects where you're actually dialing in for conversion, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about that side. Yeah, do you want to talk about that side of it? Because I think people need to be aware, like there is both sides. I think with any platform that you have, it's like AdWords. You know, you got the display network, which is a money pit unless you know how to harness the beast. Yeah.
Yep.
But most people will use pay-per-click because they will basically work on it's closer in terms to target, it's closer to the conversion, and it's a little bit easier to harness. Yeah.
Go ahead, dude.
I was going to say, what we're doing is we're getting we're working on the targeting segments. So we're getting we're working with Amazon to get like certain segments built for us, so that we can be super targeted. And we've been working with their team to get that done, so that we can increase the return on investment. So I think it's targeting that's going to be we're still trying to figure out that piece of it, but that's what we're working with Amazon on. Their technical team.
So you're basically working directly and you're speaking with the AAP team. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, we had a call yesterday. Well, I had two calls. We had one with the programmatic manager, and then I was on a webinar for AAP on features, how to utilize the different features and stuff like that.
I think the most important thing for people to understand is that sponsored products and headline search ads and product display ads is the bottom of the funnel. I mean, when you look at it, it's like right there. That's what people are searching for on Amazon. They're ready to buy. The ad comes up after you search. It's right there. And AAP is just a level up from that funnel from sponsored products and headline search ads. Yeah. And it's not at that buying stage. It's at that kind of discovery stage.
Yeah, discovery.
They're not ready to buy, so you shouldn't expect an ACoS of 35, 20%, 25%. So we didn't really expect that going in, but we're optimizing for the best ACoS possible. And so far, it's been pretty. I don't know, Sean, if you want to, I'm saying any numbers, but like the ROAS, because they use ROAS, ROAS, which is return on ad spend. Yeah, has I think been like 0.30, which is like most people look at that and be like, that's terrible. It's not even 100% ACoS. It's higher than that, but you got to understand it's a different stage in the funnel, and to get to the 100% ACoS or 50% ACoS, it takes a lot more than what it is with just search ads. And
I mean, with display ads in the Google Display Network, generally you have to spend thousands, and you have to be very targeted to what you want to use it for. It's like I would never use the Google Display Network to sell a local service. I wouldn't necessarily use it for an expensive product. But if you're using it for like an ebook giveaway, building a list and stuff like that, that's where the uses can, because then you can tailor the interest at the top of the funnel, and then build a list from that and bring down further down the funnel into a more managed and targeted fashion.
Yeah.
I love it. Danny's an AdWords guy.
the one other thing that's really cool. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you speak. Sorry, I'm butting in.
I was just going to say the one other thing is they have a report, and I don't know, I remember seeing this because we had a client that ran an AMG campaign, and AMG is slightly different. We can talk on that. But they have a report that tells you, like, if somebody clicked on your ad, your retargeting ad through AAP, and they didn't purchase your product, but let's say like 2 weeks later, they clicked on your headline ad or your sponsored product ad and they purchased your product, they'll tell you that shopper had previously seen and clicked on your or had like impressions from your AAP ad. And they'll basically call it, I don't know what it's called, it's like a related sale, like they actually didn't purchase from AAP, but they came in later so that you can kind of see like, okay, this is actually, you know, it is kind of working. They are seeing us there, and then they're purchasing on the platform when they come on to Amazon. So it's kind of cool that you can see the reporting is like, it's ridiculous how many reports there are compared to, you know.
So I mean, we kind of touched on this before. Should we actually explain to people what AAP is if they've not tuned in to previous shows, and give us some of the features that they have in terms of the targeting tools?
Yeah, Sean, do you want to start?
Sure. AAP stands for Amazon Advertising Platform. It is an advertising network that you have to get access to pretty manually, actually. It's a more traditional advertising platform where like an agency has access to it. To my knowledge, it's not self-serve at the moment. And so either Amazon has to manage it or an agency. And so it's basically advertising on and basically mostly off of Amazon, so on different websites, and also like third-party exchanges that sell advertising inventory, things like that. So basically, in terms of targeting, your supply, which is your advertising inventory, you have Amazon-owned entities, and then you also have like third-party. So they buy up this advertising inventory that can be placed around the internet, and then you can target by that. You can target by segment. That's kind of the big ones. Those are really the ones that we're seeing. Like, you know, bid, obviously you're, managing your bid. It's a CPM platform, cost per impression. So you're paying for impressions. So it's going to be a little higher. And so in terms of targeting, you have to build your own creatives. And so you're going to have different advertisings. And so there are a couple ways to do that. You can either supply your own creatives, or you could do the automated one, which is the listing format, which we talked to an AMG rep. He said that performed really well, which makes sense to me because people are so familiar with Amazon. So seeing that would really, really help. So there is some kind of workarounds to make things faster, like being able to just use your listing, like content and design as your creative. In terms of targeting, you have different segments. So, you have like people who like own a van, or people who are around this age group, or people who are interested in this, that, or the other. And so they give you this list of interests, and you have to go through these interests and tick them off and figure out which ones you want to target. And then apparently they can build these interests too, because we're working with that too, which is really, really cool. And so really, I think this game, like you said, is about like staying super targeted. But even when you're super targeted, I think it's still more of a brand play.
Yeah, no, totally. And is there any way to do retargeting and stuff like that with the platform?
Yes, they have a dynamic. So it's automated dynamic retargeting. It's an option that you have to select. And so they do retargeting for, it's automated retargeting. So the goal is that you basically you have to, spend the ad dollar so that the system can gather the data and do the retargeting.
Yeah. The one thing that if anybody wanting to get into AAP and do it, you need a minimum of 20,000 emails into a campaign to start a retargeting ad campaign. There's other segments you can do, and you don't have to use 20,000 emails. Other things you can do. But when we went into this platform for the client that we're managing right now in AAP and the future ones we're going to do, our theory was like, okay, look, if they sell one product really well and they have 20,000 emails. What we're going to try to do is get 20,000 emails of customers who had purchased that product, but also purchased other products from the brand. So we're taking 20,000 raving fans of the brand, the best possible customers that you can pull, not just ones that bought once, but people that repeat purchasers, which you can pull that data from Managed by Stats, and there's probably other softwares out there. And we uploaded these 20,000 emails into a list and created a lookalike audience based off that, and we're targeting that lookalike audience. And from what me and Sean were like, this is going to be the best possible campaign we could ever launch. And, we're figuring it out.
Even though it's our first one and we've never even, we're crush it, even though we've never done anything on the platform. But it's been a humbling experience.
It's really, really good though. We have learned a lot, and
we have.
So would you say with the nature of this platform, it's for the super sellers, 100 SKUs and above, regular releases and upgrades of products, because then you've got a bigger ocean to jump into and you've got more variables to work with, therefore your conversions be higher because of more choice?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I would say. And
it's brands, man. Brands, I think, are where they're targeting.
I definitely want to figure it out to the point, though, where we can offer a service where there's some weird low-hanging fruit strategies that we can use that regardless if you're a small seller or a big seller, it's going to perform well. That's the end goal for myself personally. I think Sean as well, is to figure out some low-hanging fruit strategies that we can use, that we can share with people, that they can potentially tap into as well.
Exactly, and obviously there's a cost entry point, but as you're an agency, you've covered that. So you basically be able to, like other sellers on your agency, for instance, get access to the program if they want it. And like you said, 20, 30 campaigns down the line, you're working out new ways to present this to the world in terms of conversions. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, you've got AMS, you've got Amazon PPC, you've got external traffic, you've got APP. We need to be digging into all of these different platforms. We need to be looking at all these different strategies, because everything becomes stagnant. So the guys that were just using PPC on their own in a very competitive area, and they're not grandfathered in, makes it a bit more difficult, doesn't it? So if you blend it with a bit of AMS, a little bit of external traffic, and then basically you've got a diverse portfolio of traffic coming to the listing to help with conversions and stuff.
Dude, that's what that's kind of that's what we heard about from Amazon, that AAP really complements a solid PPC AMS strategy, and it complements the listing. So you'll see that increase in sales. That's kind of what they said.
Cool. So Sean, what's your predictions for this year? What are we looking at? Give me 5 things that you're seeing into the future, your crystal ball, if you like.
On the spot. I guess the number one thing prediction for this year is we're going to see a lot more. I think we are seeing a lot more like PPC software and Amazon PPC software. So we're going to see like a more robust feature set from these services. We've got our own stuff that we do internally. So I think we're going to see a lot more on the people building their own tools. Number 2, I think on the PPC side, obviously, average cost per click is going to go up. And it's just going to be a more difficult platform. I think basically in terms of like advertising, I think really the trends are going to stick with like the platform itself. I guess number 3 is like it's going to mature, right? Like it's going to get more mature. So it's going to be more difficult, especially with the inability to get like incentivized reviews and things like that. So it's going to consolidate and become a more mature platform. So it's going to be more difficult for people who are maybe, back in the day, you could sell like a spatula or whatever back in like the gold rush days. But now it's going to be a more sophisticated platform where you might have to have a specialty. You have to sell products that are a bit more specialized. And because products that do well themselves tend to do well on advertising as well. I'm thinking we're going to see an increase, number 4, maybe an increase in products that are like more specialized and more just different, along with the trends that are outside of Amazon, because I don't think you can really sell like stuff that you used to be able to sell. And then I'm trying number 5, like a trend.
Well, I'll put you on the spot. Four's good enough. There's some good points. And Taylor, same to you, mate.
I was gonna say I probably only have like 1 or 2.
I know.
I think the biggest thing to understand is that people are getting smarter. Software is getting better. Average cost per click is going up because competition's increasing. Strategies that are working for you now aren't going to work for you likely in 6 months from now. And you just always need to be evolving. I mean, the name of the game is not the strongest that survive. I don't care if you're doing like 5 million a month and you're the number 1 seller across all your products on your brand. It's the most adaptable that are going to survive. And just understanding all these new platforms, tapping into knowledge streams like Seller Sessions and other podcasts, and always learning is going to be the most important thing to making sure that your business can thrive and, of course, survive. It's just adaptability and learning these new strategies. I would say particularly in AMS, the one thing that we've heard internally is that the product display ads are going to be available on Seller Central. They will be developing the AMS platform a lot more for vendors, because AMS is, again, it's not supposed to be for third-party sellers. It's supposed to be for vendors only. They will be making it better. And you just got to stay on your feet and always be testing new strategies and testing new marketing strategies, not just within Amazon, but Google AdWords and Bing Ads, a lot of different stuff, and just always be testing, because if not, you'll fall behind.
Cool. Is there anything you guys want to add before we disappear?
I
think so. I would say
two things. I think that would really benefit the audience. One thing that we built is the ability to do day parting.
Yeah.
for Amazon campaigns. So what we're testing is pausing and unpausing campaigns during certain time frames, like really low sales, pausing the campaigns, then unpausing them. We also want to test bid strategies, like decreasing bids around low sales times and then increasing bids around high sales times. So I think day parting is something that I think would be really interesting. We do it basically like it's an AdWords feature that I'm sure a lot of people use, but it's something that Amazon doesn't have. I know there might be a couple other tools that use it, but we're using that. We're testing that. And then we've also, we're also, one thing that I think a lot of sellers are looking for is the ability to download suggested bids. And so right now we have like a beta of that. We're building the ability to basically like dump in keywords and then have Amazon pull the suggested bid, and then we can download it as a CSV to use it as a benchmark for starting bids. So we're working on that as well. We're testing it. We got a working model, but we're gonna tweak it and get better at it.
Cool. So how can people reach you then if they want to get in contact with some questions and stuff?
Yes. So just Sean, SEAN, at junglehustle.com is my email address. That's
fantastic. Same question to Taylor. How can people reach you?
Just Taylor at betterams.com. The one thing I would want to leave with Danny real quick before we hop off is that we had a client who's doing listing conversion optimization, and they sell in the UK, sell in Germany, they sell everywhere. And one of the things they got from a tip was that
this is cool.
use your images, have a UK theme. So like put the UK flag in the background, use the colors, and people are going to feel a lot more like it's because they're from the UK. And they did that, and literally like the conversion rate went from like I don't know what it was, 10% to like 18%. It was like ridiculous in terms of how high the conversion rate. So back to what you said, future predictions for 2018. I think that a lot more people should be focusing time on making their listings better to optimize for a higher unit session percentage, because at the end of the day, higher unit session percentage means lower A cost. That means you can spend more money on ads, and spending more money on ads means you're going to beat everybody else. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is just optimizing the listing.
That's a huge one. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, let's wrap there. And email address, Taylor?
Taylor at betterams.com.
Sounds good. Guys, again, thank you for joining us. Guys, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting you back again soon, and we'll be back soon. So take care for now, and don't forget to subscribe.